Okay, guys, so I've already kind of welcomed y'all, but tonight I want to talk about, and this is a little bit of a different training, and I'm gearing it towards you guys, towards leaders. So I may step on some toes, and you just need to know that from the beginning, but I'm never going to say anything to you guys that I haven't had to say to myself at some point. So tonight we are talking about the 6 reasons why you aren't sponsoring and some tips that can help you. I feel like there are a million trainings out there about how to sponsor and tips to sponsor and tips to prospect, but I don't really, and I feel like there's a lot of trainings about overcoming objections. I've done those, but I want to talk about why you aren't sponsoring. And I'm really going to ask for you guys that are on here tonight to really engage with me in the chat box and talk to me about some tips that have helped you maybe overcome this or realize that, or what you have done to sort of flip the script. So the first reason why you aren't sponsoring is that you aren't asking enough people. Hands down, point blank, period. You're not asking enough people. I want you guys to talk to me in the chat box and think about how many times did you have to ask someone to, or how many people did you ask before you got your very first teammate? Some of you may have only asked one person and you got that one person to join, and congratulations, I am so happy for you. But for me, I had to ask a ton of people. And that's the number one thing that when people say that they can't sponsor, that I hear. I'm like, okay, well, how many sponsoring conversations have you had? 5? No, homie, 5 is not enough. 5 is not enough. Asking 5 people to join your team is like asking no one to join your team when it really gets down to the grand scheme of things. Because statistically, like, only about 1 out of 10 are going to join your team that you ask. And I'm going to talk more about like the statistics of how many times you have to ask somebody before they actually join. So ask yourself how many actual conversations. Guys, make sure that you mute yourself when y'all get on. I know that it's already on mute, but it's like super distracting. Okay. But you're not asking enough people. And so then when I also ask somebody, well, how many people are on your dream team list? And they say 10. No, that ain't going to work for me. Your dream team list should have so many people on it. It should absolutely take more than 1 page. And I'm going to show you mine. And you should be adding to that dream team list every single time you have a conversation. So page 1 of my dream team list, there's a back. Page 2 of my dream team list, there's a back. Page 3 of my dream team list. And this one doesn't have a back, but there it is. Because anytime that I mention it to someone and I get any type of a response, I'm going to write their name down. If I go to a party and I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, we didn't really talk about joining, but that girl would be so good, I'm going to write her name down. Because guys, if you are a person that can remember everything, then great. But you're not going to remember to ask that person to join a year from now. And Blair said in the comments, she's asked somebody for 4 years and she finally joined last month. Amen. Hallelujah. I've had people do me the exact same way for years and years and years. And if I didn't have them on my dream team list, I wouldn't have followed up with them. And we're going to talk more about following up here in a little bit. So you aren't asking enough people. If you're struggling with recruiting, if you're struggling with sponsoring, I'm going to encourage you to go listen or buy the book, Go for the No, because you have got to reframe your mind around, number one, hearing no, but also with the whole people thing. If you listen to Reunion, you guys know that 49% of the people in the United States don't even know what Cincy is. So please stop saying you can't find anybody to join your team. You just haven't been talking to enough people. You just haven't been talking to enough people. ask yourself, does everybody in your circle know that you do Scentsy? So I go to the chiropractor. I have a massage therapist. I have a nail girl that I always see. I have people that I see all the time on a consistent basis. Do they know that you do Scentsy? Do they know that you actually take Scentsy seriously and that you're not just that person that is putting in an order every couple of months? Like, do they actually know that you're serious? Do people actually know that you want to grow your team? But if I ask you how many sponsoring conversations you've had and you're only saying 5, that's not a very good chance that someone's going to actually join your team. And so I want you to really think about that. Okay. So a second reason why you are not sponsoring is that you are not building relationships and you are not building your customer base. Nobody buys and nobody joins from people that they don't know, like, and trust. And I don't mean building a relationship with them by asking them to buy Scentsy. Number one, anytime that you're asking somebody or that you are having a conversation with somebody about Scentsy, you should always lead with the opportunity. Because if you don't lead with them joining your team, if they say no to buying your product, it's going to be very difficult to be like, oh, well, but do you want to join? If you start with the opportunity, then you can default to hosting a party. Then you can default to making a sale. If they still don't want to buy anything, you can then default to getting a referral. But think about it. If somebody says no, they don't want to join your team because, let's just say, they think that nobody they know is going to buy, you have a solution for that. They can host a party and see how their friends would be. They can host a party and potentially be active, earn shooting star, get certified before they ever even join. They can try out being a consultant before they actually have to make the commitment. So there is absolutely no reason that we are not leading with the opportunity. But nobody's going to want to trust you into going into the opportunity if they don't know, like, and trust you. If they feel like you're only out for your own benefit, nobody's going to trust that. And when I say that you're relationship building, I mean that you're being intentional. That means commenting on their stuff, not just liking it. That means taking a genuine interest in their life. If you say that you're praying for them because they've been sick, follow up and see if they actually are better or whatever. You guys aren't stupid. You know how to build relationships. But at the end of the day, we are in a business of relationships. And I am not a people person. I am an introvert. I will hide. I will do all of those things. But if you don't learn how to be a person that will take an interest in people, it's going to be very, very hard for you to find success, because that is why people are going to buy Scentsy. They're not buying from Scentsy corporate. They're buying from you. Otherwise, they will go and find somebody else to buy from. And that's what makes the difference. In addition to number 2, with you're not building relationships, you're not building your customer base. So you're not bringing new people into your circle. And I can promise you, I see star directors on here. They've been through this struggle where they have sponsored all of their customers. And so they're like, I don't know where my PRV is going to come from, but dang it, I'm going to do it. But they know that they should intentionally be continuing to grow their customer base, because just like sponsoring is something that takes consistency, that also expanding your customer base also takes consistency. And if you're not always bringing people in, and when I say that you're not asking enough people, well, it's because you only know the same 10 people. You can't ask the same 10 people every single month if they want to join when nothing's changed, right? So, like, you always have to be bringing in new people. Always, always, always. And if you're not taking an interest in people, that's going to show, because you have to prove yourself to people. You have to. So Tiffany says she's a superstar consultant. I sponsored all of my customers. Yeah, girl. I have been there. Blair's been there. Emily's been there. We have all been there. And it is a struggle. But the fact that you recognize that, you know that, you can switch your, like, flip your script and continue building relationships with new people, bringing new people in. The 3 legs of success, y'all: PRV, sponsoring, and coaching. Balance is a lie. Balance is a lie. The best thing that you can do as a leader is to always be self-reflecting. So no, okay, well, I just sponsored this girl. That's going to take 10 customers with her because she's going to take those customers. So I need to find like 15 more people to replace her. Watch the videos on building your customer base, party, ask for referrals. That's not what this training is about. Okay? Yes. So reason number 3 that you are not sponsoring is you make it about you and you don't make it about them. You say, join my team. Guys, very rarely will you ever see me say, join my team. I will say, join our team. Because let's be real, I may be a superstar director. I may have reached that title, but I'm nothing without you guys. This is us. This isn't me. This is us. This is you guys. This is the leaders. This is the people that show up, right? So this isn't my team. This is our team and our community. And Laura just said yes, you can sit with us. I still have that sign up there that says you can totally sit with us. I don't know if I can move that enough to like see it. You can't really see it, but it's right, that blue sign up there. You can totally sit with us because guys, that's what we have to offer. People aren't always looking for money. Most of the time, when people join a company like this, they're not looking for money because they don't believe they can make it. They don't believe that they could leave their job and be making more in a month than they did in a year. But let me tell you, it's true. And you make it about you and not about them. So change the way that you word it, number 1, and think about how what we have can bless somebody. Because the second that you decide to start blessing people and caring about people and not caring about yourself, God is going to carry you. And God is going to continue to let you be the hands and feet that changes somebody's life. Because when I tell you, right, and I get so emotional about it because it was just payday, and I'll talk about that at the end if you guys want me to. But when I tell you that Chloe Cox 110% changed my life, I mean it. Because it matters who you join under, and it matters your belief, and it matters why you want to bring people into this business, because people are going to see whether you just want it for your benefit or whether you want it because you want to help them change their future and change their family and earn a free trip, or hell, just get all the free Scentsy. So listen to me. You have to make it about them. How can this business bless them? And on another note with that is, when you're making it about you, maybe you aren't asking your very best customers and your very best hosts to join because you're scared, because you're worried about where your PRV is going to come from, because you're worried that you're not going to be able to get paid at title because you don't know where your 500's coming from because that customer orders over $100 every month. Well, that's selfish. And I'm here to tell you that. Because earning cash back on her purchase could change your life, because she could see how easy it is and decide to do this as a business. Hello, Chastity. That's why I joined, guys. I joined to buy for myself. I didn't want to do this. I had zero idea that this was going to change my life. Zero idea that this was going to change my life. I joined to buy from myself. So stop being selfish with those hostess credits, with those host rewards, with that PRV, scarcity is not a thing. There are more people being born every single day, getting older every single day. There is not a scarcity problem. It's a mindset, selfish problem. And I can say that from experience that I have felt that way. I am never going to be the leader that's going to sit over here and act like I'm some holier than thou person that has never felt like this, because I have. But I can promise you that sponsoring your very best customer, sponsoring your very best host could change their life, and in return could change yours. Laura said the book Do It Afraid by Joyce Myers has really been helping me. Courage doesn't mean that you aren't afraid. It just means that you can work past your fear. Absolutely. Fear will freeze you every single day. You have to decide whether you're going to let it or not. But that's the devil. The devil wants you to be frozen. He wants you to sit there and tell yourself that you can't do it, etc. Tasha says, I've recruited my best customers and all are growing great businesses. And my PRV has stayed over 2K. A lot of it is mindset. Absolutely. And that is going to be another point up on my thing. And Tasha, I mean, you are a great example of being consistent. So I love that. So realize that you need to make it about them and not about you. When you love people and you're serving people, that is what's going to come back tenfold. Number 4 is probably really, I don't really know because I'm not like looking to see exactly who's on here with that may do this, but I'm about to step on some toes if somebody watches the recording and does this. Number 4, the reason why you aren't consistent, or the reason why you aren't sponsoring, is either you are not consistent or you are doing another direct sales. I'm going to just go ahead and say it right here. If you are doing another direct sales, guys, nobody is going to take you seriously. I'm not sitting up here on my high horse. There are multiple people on this call right now that did another direct sales with me. And they know that Chloe had a hard conversation with me. I've had the conversation with them. They've came to me and talked to me about it. And I am going to say forever and ever, amen. You cannot do two and be successful. Quit trying to pull from 2 different places and find success, because number 1, you're never going to be able to give your time to both of those things the way that you need to. Number 2, your customers aren't going to take you seriously and they're not going to know what in the heck to support. They're not. And before I was in direct sales, I didn't really understand that. But there are multiple people that live local to me here in my community, and they literally flip-flop from different direct sales. And I'm like, girl, you just have to stick it out and be consistent for a while. And that's the difference, because people, you have to prove yourself. I've already said that before. They need to know that you're going to stick around. So if you've done another direct sales, nobody can fault you for that. I've done it. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, left. And when I left, and I didn't just leave, I prayed about it. I really thought about it. And when I left and I decided to go all in with Cincy, I promoted to director 2 months later. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that I wouldn't be successful with that other company the way that I am with Cincy, because my passion isn't there. And that's something that you need to check yourself on and ask yourself, what are you passionate about? Because nobody in our group is going to be ugly to you if you say, I'm just not really passionate, I'm going to go with my other company. Because you know what? We would much rather you do that. Take a non-leadership role, email accountservices@cincy.com. Let us take care of your front line and you go do you, because that's where you're going to be successful if you're passionate about it. And that makes the difference. But not only are you doing yourself a disservice, you're doing everybody in your circle, your team, your customers, everybody a disservice. Nobody wants to join somebody that's the direct sales girl. They want to join the ride or die girl, the girl that knows that it's not going to go anywhere, the girl that they know that they're going to get training from, the girl that they know is not just going to sponsor them and leave them high and dry. So know that. And Paula said, I didn't think we were allowed to do another direct sales with Scentsy. So there's a lot of rules about it, but especially once you become a leader, it's yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. But yep. Yep, Ashley, and I mean, you can tell her to reach out to me, because if you're doing 2 direct sales, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. You need to pick. And I'm not like one that's going to say, oh, pick Scentsy. I'm not, because I don't want you if you're not going to be passionate about it. And if you're reading the chat, Liz and Jen, I mean, they did the other direct sales with me. If you're not passionate about it, it makes a difference. And we have our upline is successful in that company. It was a good fit for them. It wasn't a good fit for me. And just so we're clear, I didn't go and like recruit Liz and Jen. They both came to me. Like, it wasn't something where I'm like going to do cross promotion like that, just in case compliance watches this. Hey guys, I didn't break the rules. Consistency. Consistency is literally what makes or breaks people in this business. You have to show up when you don't feel like it, when you're up, when you're down, when someone pisses you off, when you don't know where your sales are going to come from, but you just said you booked 3 parties and only got 1 bag party left, when you have something bad happen in your family, when it doesn't matter. You have to be consistent. Even if that means crying in the bathroom while you schedule your posts for the next week so you can take a time out. Even if that means asking a team member to watch out for your team page so it doesn't go dead. You have to be consistent. And I'm not saying like die, but, and I mean, I'll be honest, I'm very consistent throughout the week. Throughout the weekends, I'm not as consistent about, like, especially with my customers. That's okay. My customers have learned that. But because I'm so consistent throughout the week, I'm still always in their mind. I'm still always doing the things. And Tiffany said, when you have a baby, melt that wax in your room. Yeah, guys, she birthed a baby and was still making samples. So don't come at anybody with some excuses, right? But if you're only posting about Scentsy 3 Fridays a month when you've got an order going in, if you're only posting about people joining your team when there's a join special, if you're only doing those things when it's convenient, people are going to know that. You have to create positive habits for yourself, and nobody can teach you or tell you how to do that. You have to decide for you. Consistency is hard, Laura. Consistency is hard. And I've really had to like switch the way that I do things, because I would realize that I would set myself up for failure because I wouldn't schedule my posts during the week. Because if I wait till Sunday to schedule my posts, I'm just not going to schedule them, because I'd rather be with my kids. Or the last thing I want to do on Sunday night before I go to bed is go schedule my posts. So you have to decide what's going to work for you. But if you aren't consistent, people are going to go to somebody else. Emily, I'm going to use Emily as an example right now, because I felt like I was going through the worst time of my life. I wasn't working my business. I was super depressed. But Emily reached out to me because she knew I had stayed consistent. And even though I didn't feel like I was giving my best, and I know I wasn't giving my best, she saw that. And guys, if you think that people within our group and within, like, people follow lots of other Scentsy consultants, they're always watching, exactly what Emily said. They're always watching. So if you go days and days and days and days and days without saying anything, or they go to your profile and they can't figure out if you sell Scentsy or not, they're going to go find somebody that is consistent, that is posting about it, that is going to take care of them. So you have to stay consistent. Reason 5 that you are not sponsoring. You stop when you hear the word no. If you're not hearing the word no, you aren't asking enough people. If you got a no, at least they responded. I mean, how many people have gotten ghosted? Hello. Left on red, left on like swipe and delete. Like we've all been there, done that, right? But no, exactly what Laura said. Laura said that no means no right now. It doesn't mean no forever. And that's 110% true. I want you guys to type in the comments how many times you were asked before you joined. Yes, Tiffany, I'm going to talk about that. So Vive and Emily are both saying 0, but they're not normal. So, well, stop y'all not normal people and the regular people in this world. Okay, thank you, Paula, because all of these other psychos are saying that they were asked one time or no one asked or whatever. But like, and you know what? That's a good example. So Paula says that Sharice asked her like 7 times before she joined. Most people are like that. And I can say like Chloe didn't ask me to join. She was in Vegas. They announced that Disney World was free. And I was like, yo, girl, I just joined. So there we go. You know, like, so yes, maybe that's a better example then. Look at all of these directors. Look at all of these freaking bosses that are saying that no one asked them, or they got asked once, or they reached out to them. Those are the 1%ers, guys. Those are the 1%ers. But also those girls that are saying that, they have confidence. How many people do you know that have risen to the occasion, but didn't have confidence enough to reach out to somebody before? I struggled so much with self-confidence. And honestly, I feel like if Chloe had asked me, I probably would have said no. But I saw the opportunity and went for it. But it's because we have a go-getter attitude. Not everybody has that, or not saying that not everybody has that, but some people may need more like coaching and like pulled out of them and somebody to tell them you could be great at this. Think about how many of us have said that since he's given us confidence and given us things that we didn't know that we needed, right? Made us feel better about ourselves, made us not worry about what other people thought of us, right? So think about those people also. So Paula, and you know what, Paula, I bet a lot of people can say that too. Paula says that she's never done another direct sales. She was anti-direct sales and it annoyed me to think about it. She asked every single time I ordered. Finally, I caved and randomly bought the $99 kit. And girl, you haven't looked back since. So I hope that you're so thankful. And Tasha says that timing is everything. Exactly. So and this is going to be this is what we're kind of talking about. So only 2% of sales, and I know we're kind of talking about sales, but the same thing when it comes to like sponsoring and sales, it's the same thing. So only 2% of sales occur at the first contact. You guys are a bunch of crazies, but only 2%. 80% of sales require 5 follow-ups. So think about how many times you've asked somebody and they've said no, but you continue to ask them and continue to follow up, like Paula. And I'm trying to think of somebody else that like I've sponsored that I've been asking for years and years and years. And they like, it's just timing is everything. People's circumstances change within 30 seconds. Somebody's life can be astronomically different. So that's why you should have a dream team list. And that's why you should always be following up with people. No doesn't mean no forever. No means no not right now. And like Paula was saying, every time that she ordered, Sharice mentioned that to her. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, You should join my team. It can be something like, okay, I'll take your order, but you could be getting paid off of this. Okay, I mean, I'll do that. Like it doesn't and I think that's something that some people get really caught up in is that they feel like it has to be super serious and it doesn't. But people need to know that you're not going anywhere and that Cincy isn't going anywhere. And Ashley said that I kept watching you and joined under you because you inspired me. And I had no idea she was watching. People are always watching. Okay. And the sixth reason why you aren't sponsoring is your mindset sucks. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Your mindset sucks. You say you can't sponsor. And when you say you can't sponsor, guess what you're not doing? You're not having sponsoring conversations. When you say that you can't sponsor, you're not going and being intentional about asking people. When you say you can't sponsor, you're just taking their orders and not asking for parties. Your mindset sucks. In addition, maybe you don't have full belief in the company. Maybe you feel like if you do sponsor somebody, you're going to be bad at it. Or you feel like mindset, everything is going to live and breathe by mindset. Everything is going to live and breathe by mindset. You need to know that Cincy isn't going anywhere. And if you're having problems with understanding that, you need to build belief in the company. Because what you're offering, guys, what you are offering is not a burden. What we have to offer is a gift that can fundamentally change someone's life. But you have to know and understand that. And when you know and understand that, and when you fall in love with helping people achieve their dreams and achieve their goals, big things are going to happen for you in your life and in your business. But you have to know that. You have to understand, like we said before, this is our team. It's not about me, it's about blessing other people. It's about being a servant for other people. Do it for the one person that you could fundamentally change their life. How good would it feel to know that you had a part in helping someone be able to quit their job or be able to buy a four-wheeler for their husband or whatever it is? How good would it feel for you to be a part of that? Not only for like yourself, but just in general, and know that every single person can have a seat at the table. There's room for everybody, but there's only certain people that are going to show up to take part in that. And you owe it to yourself and you owe it to other people to know that you have the ability to change someone's life. So stop holding back. Every day that you hold yourself back or you let yourself have a shitty mindset that tells yourself that you can't do it, you're holding yourself back from your greatness, from their greatness. And that's something that you can control. You get to control your mindset because the only person that can control that is you because it's in your head. And I know how hard it is. Depression, anxiety, all of it, that is all from the devil. It's not from God, but it is so hard to fight through every single day. Y'all just, I know some of y'all know, but some of y'all just don't know because you don't suffer from that. But it is the hardest thing in the world. But I want you guys to know that you have that power and you have that ability. So in saying all of that, I want you to ask yourself, why would someone want to join you? Why would somebody want to join you? What are you going to offer? And I don't mean what you know in your head. I want to know what you put out into the universe. Why would someone want to join you? Do they know you're passionate? Do they know you're not going anywhere? Do they know that you want to help them rise? Do they know that they won't be doing this alone? Do they know that if they just want to join to get 20% commission until they sell $1,000, that that's an option? Do they know that you're going to love them and support them, whether they want to change their life or just buy from themselves? Do they know those things? And it's not what's in your head, it's what you're actually putting out there. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. And another reason, I guess this should have been 7 reasons. The last reason that I can say that maybe you are not sponsoring is because your PRV isn't where it needs to be. And I can say that because everything in this business rises and falls from PRV. If your PRV is low, if you're struggling to get your 500, everything is going to rise and fall from that. Because if you're struggling with PRV, you don't even need to be worrying about sponsoring until you can get your PRV up. Because if your PRV is struggling, then that surely means that you're not talking to enough people and then you're not building your customer base, because everything is going to rise and fall from your PRV. And I can tell you that the people that are big time sponsors in our group and on our teams, they always have high PRV. They have high PRV because they're working consistently, they're being intentional, they're partying, they're meeting new people. And as they're building that PRV, they're sponsoring people because they're building those they're having those conversations. So if your PRV is struggling, I'm going to highly suggest that you focus on finding a way to get your PRV to 2,000 PRV consistently. Because if you can achieve 2,000 PRV consistently, you are going to find recruits out of that and people that are going to join your team out of that. But if you're sitting at 600-700 PRV, it's going to be hard, because if you take 200 from that, that's not even your 500, and that's your that would be somebody being active. So you really have to focus on getting your business to be well-rounded, but at the same time, PRV has to be the forefront, because at the end of the day, most people joined not to grow a huge business and grow a huge team. They joined for sales. They joined for getting 20% back. They joined for those types of things. So I want you to remember that. Some tips I have for the end of the call, and then I'm going to open it up to anybody else who wants to talk about sponsoring. I'm not going to make anybody talk, but I know that I have some heavy hitter sponsoring people on here, so I am absolutely going to let them talk if they want to share some pointers. Some pro tips that I am going to tell you for sponsoring is you should have a dream team list. And if your dream team list doesn't have more than 25 people on it, I'm going to tell you to step your game up. When I say 25 people or more, that doesn't just mean people that you've actually had a conversation with. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and they call it the chicken list. The chicken list are the people that you are absolutely 110% terrified to ask to join your team, but you know would kill it. They're like either really connected or super positive, or just somebody that you would just die to have on your team, your chicken list. Definitely I have people on my dream team list that are actually on my chicken list. I don't separate them into 2 separate things, but when I heard that the other day, I wrote down 15 more names. And guys, those names don't just come to me, pop into my head. I go scroll through Facebook. I go scroll through my Instagram. I scroll through my messages because I'm building. And that is honest. That's why when people message me on Facebook Messenger, if you're on our team or in our group, I literally ignore you. And it's not because I'm being a bitch, like some people think. It's because I reserve that for people that don't have access to my email and phone number. Everybody within this group has my email and phone number, or you should. But Facebook Messenger isn't a system to sponsor people, but it sure as heck is a system to build relationships. And so I'm always building my list. And I went through that and through my Facebook list to find my chicken list. So that's something I would suggest. Another pro tip, I'm gonna pull out this little postcard. I posted about it on my team page, but I also wanted to come here and post about it. And this has made a big difference. So this is just a little thank you postcard. This QR code goes to a store, my like YouTube video about retirement. And all it says is, thank you. Did you know you would have made 20% commission on this order? So this goes in everybody's. And on the back, this is where I write their thank you note. I'll write their name and then their thank you note on it because that makes it easy for me. I posted in our team page, there was a post, it's this size, and Katie made it. And it says, did you know you would earn 20% commission? And then it says you would have made blank. And so if you're willing to take that time and say you would have made blank, so what she does is they total up how much commission they would have made on that order, because money talks, guys. And let me tell you right now that if you're not following Chloe Cox, Ray Anderson, I almost called her previous last name, and Katie Lassiter, they are the people I want to be like when I grow up. That'll be never, but those are the people that I want to be like. So if you're not following them and doing what they do, you need to. Because if you want to be successful, follow what successful people do. And Katie told me about this about 6 months ago, and I put my own spin on it. And it's made a difference because money talks. And in hers, you do write in how much they would make. You can do it however it is you want. But a pro tip would be, this is a touch point for me. So every single person that orders from me is getting this touch point that they could have made 20%, right? Because like we've said about follow-up, most normal people are not just going to join the very first time you ask. Most normal people are not going to come to you. But it being in their face over and over and over and over, that makes a difference. I had a girl just order $100 from me on Friday, and she said, I need to just join so I can just buy from myself. And I said, I've been telling you that. Like, I really don't want to take this order. I really wish you would just take this $59 kit, and you already have $100. Find somebody else. She didn't do it, but you know what I'm doing? I have it written down that I'm sending her a freaking bomb join packet with a handwritten note about how I would much rather her get paid on this than me. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to total up everything she's ordered from me in the last 3 months and tell her how much money she's missed out on. Money talks. Pro tip, go, if you use Sell with Amy, which I highly suggest that you do, you can ascend in your contacts tab, and it will help you ascend by who has spent the most money. Go and find those customers who have spent the most money. You can even go in there and figure out exactly how much they've spent by looking at their orders. Figure out what their commission would be over however much of a time period you want it to be. Tell them how much they are missing out on. And if you're scared to sponsor your best customers, that comes from a scarcity mindset. And that's just not true. That's just not true. Okay. So that's a pro tip. Another tip is like the host kit. Every single party you close, guys, stop closing parties without asking someone. Yes, you guys see me post that I have a kit. Very rarely do I actually get somebody from that. Yes, I still post it because I want to stay relevant. I want people to see that. I want people to realize that that's an option. But very rarely do I get somebody that's ready to do it right then, right? So think about it. If you've had somebody take up that offer, for the most part, it's not the very first time they've seen it, or they've seen you do it a couple times, and then they're like, it keeps popping in their head. You have to continue to plant seeds. Whatever you do now, if you continue to water it, you continue to nurture it, you continue to build a relationship with it, is going to bloom 6 months from now or harvest 6 months from now, because sponsoring is not something that happens overnight. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that people see somebody sponsoring 7 people. Well, they don't see that for the last 8 months, they've been building a relationship with those 7 people. It takes time. Okay. So the host kit, you should be offering that to every single host. Okay. Even if the host doesn't want it, you can still offer that to someone. There are a million trainings on YouTube and the workstation and everybody else to show you how you can do that. Okay. Katie says she sponsors mostly from the host exclusive kit. Guys, I think that that is still so freaking underutilized in our group. And I'm just going to be honest, because it's something that we asked for from Cincy for years and years and years and years and years. And I felt like sponsoring was really going to take off. But I think that some people are still really, really scared to offer it. But you don't know what someone's going to do. My girl, Michelle Wright, who just joined, she joined on, I want to say it was like the 29th or the 30th of October. And she was certified 6 days later. And she just joined to buy from herself. Hello. Then she realized, oh, I can actually at least just like get paid back on this and get a diffuser for free. Duh. Not everybody's going to be like that, but you don't get to decide what someone's success is. You don't get to decide if someone's going to work or not. So stop saying no for people. Stop saying no for people before you even ask them, because if you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And you can say no for somebody, but you can't say yes. And I'm going to keep saying that, because you can't say no for somebody, but you can say yes. So when you reach out to those very best customers, you should say, I want to offer you this kit because I think that you are so well connected and could do really well. I want to offer you this kit because you already spend $150 with me every month. You can ask your mama to go in and order with you, and you're going to be getting paid back. How many of you guys love that app? It used to be Ebates, but it's like Rakuten or whatever it is. Your girl uses it religiously, because last cashback period, I had over $300 in cashback stuff. Yeah, cashback is a thing, guys. So think about that. Does anybody have any other tips that you guys want to share? Another pro tip is ask everyone always, because if you don't ask them, I will. If I don't ask them, then somebody on our team is. And when they join under someone else, but you didn't ask them, you can't be mad. Because I've had numerous people join my team and they're like, well, nobody ever asked me. Somebody's going to ask them. And you don't want to sit back and regret not asking because you were scared or because you didn't want their PRV to go away. But homegirl down the street asked them and they joined, and you're losing the PRV anyway. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a problem. And I'm the basic girl that knows that Scentsy can be their solution. I don't care what problem you have, Scentsy can be the solution, even if it's not about money. If it's about wanting to buy from yourself or create a girl tribe or have friends to do things with, you know? All right. So does anybody, I will talk about that, Laura, here in just a second. Does anybody else, do you want to unmute yourself and talk about sponsoring or any tips or anything? Before I change the subject.
I'll go really fast.
Thank you. I didn't want to call you out.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm doing. I'm like back and forth.
I know.
But
this is Blair Whitehead, y'all. Star director.
Sorry, guys. So one thing that I can say about sponsoring is most of the people in my life and that have me on social media know what last year was like for me. And from like a sponsoring standpoint, I think I sponsored 9 people the whole year. It was not my best year overall. It was not my best like PRV year. It was not my best sponsoring year. It was not my best year as a director. It was just a lot. And I will say sponsoring is all about, like, you need to ask yourself, are you having those conversations? Because I have sponsored someone every single month this year, since January, every single month. And I've sponsored 20 people since July 1st. And the one thing that I can say that has made the difference, because everybody keeps asking me, like, what are you doing? I'm just asking people. I am being super intentional about asking people that I didn't ask before. I'm asking them. Everybody who tries to order from me, I don't even try to take their order. I just try to ask them. Anybody that gives me a big order, even people who give me like a $20 order, I just like, you can get paid off of this. So I think that is what has clicked for me, is having those conversations and being intentional and asking people. And that's what I wasn't doing all of last year. And there were a lot of things that were going on in my life that gave me reasons not to, but at the same time, it's still not an excuse. I wasn't having those conversations. So I had no one to blame but myself. I couldn't say, why can't I sponsor anyone? Why isn't anyone interested in selling? I wasn't asking people. And I thought I was asking people, but having 2 conversations a month is not sponsoring. Having 2 conversations a week is not sponsoring to me. I mean, I'm trying to have 2 conversations a day. Anybody that I can talk to about joining, I talk to them. So that's the first thing that you need to ask yourself is, like, are you just saying that you're having sponsoring conversations, or are you actually having those sponsoring conversations? And, we do have a earn a kit. If somebody's not interested in a $99 kit, offer them the earn a kit. That's another thing that I wasn't doing for a long time, is I wasn't offering the other options. I was just like going straight to well, you can join for $99. But since he has made it so easy for us to give people other avenues to start a business. So that is like my biggest tip. And my last thing I'm going to say is, you have to want it. Like, you have to want to sponsor. It's just something that you have to decide you want to do it. And I promise you, when you start sponsoring and you get that feeling of helping a teammate grow and seeing somebody else's life change because you asked them to start this business, and your business grows, it'll give you even stronger drive than you had before. So that's the other thing I'll say is you have to want to sponsor. You have to want to do it. And if it's not something you don't want to do, then don't. But I probably said that wrong. Some people are not
absolutely correct. I think some people will say that they want to sponsor just because they think it's the right thing to do. But if you don't want to
Right.
be a sponsor, you don't have to.
Exactly. And that is like the other thing is like I've had a lot of drive this year, especially with everything that happened last year in my life. And now I'm at home full time. Like I see like why I need to get it together. And I've had it together for the most part since 2016 in my business, but I did have a big dip. Um, and that's the one thing is I will say is like you have to want it. Like it can change your life, but you have to decide to do it. You have to decide to have those conversations and you have to stop being scared of losing PRV because I am telling you, I have recruited every friend that I talk to on the phone. I don't have a single friend, single best friend, relative that does not sell Scentsy now. Like I don't have anybody that I can talk to about like how I'm feeling right now that doesn't sell Scentsy. And I lost a lot of customers, you know, recruiting those people, sponsoring those people. I like to say sponsoring, but it has not bothered me and it has not affected my PRV because even though I've sponsored 20 people since July, I've had over 2,000 PRV every month since sponsoring all those people. So that's my tip. I could probably talk all night, but I should stop. So,
Well, you're going to do a training on it anyway. However,
yes.
I can also say that Blair went through a lot. Even before Blair went through that, though, she would say, I just don't know how they get that high PRV. I just don't see how people can get 2,000 PRV every month. It was a mindset shift. And I'm saying that for her.
Yeah.
Because Blair lives in the smallest town of the smallest town. Like there, it's a whole situation when you talk about where Blair lives. So
No man's land.
literally, like it's not a, it's just, it's a thing. She can't order from the Dollar Tree. There's like one Food Lion and
There is no Dollar Tree, Jesse.
Yeah, there's no Dollar Tree. She embarrassed herself in the Food Lion, so she couldn't go in there for a while. That's the only grocery store.
So
It's like a thing.
So, and I started my business when I moved to the middle of nowhere and I didn't have any friends. So that's the other thing I'll say. 75%, I'd say, of my customer base, I didn't even have a relationship with or know before I started Scentsy. So
Yeah.
you just got to put yourself out there and stop caring. If somebody tells you no, so what? You just move on. I've had people tell me no and then a year later message me for details.
Yes.
It does not bother me for somebody to tell me no. I got more important things going on in my life. So I know what it can do for them. And if they just aren't interested, that's okay. Somebody will be interested if you keep asking. So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I actually wanted her to talk, but I wasn't going to like ask her to talk just because she's got some stuff going on. But that's the difference. You get to make or break it. You get to decide. And I see a lot of you guys talking about anxiety and depression and all of that stuff. And guys, I suffer so bad, so bad. But I know, just like Blair was saying, that she knows what this can do for them. I know what this can do for them. And at the end of the day, I know Blair can say this too. We talk to and ask so many people to join us that we don't even pay attention to who left us on red and who doesn't respond or whatever, because just like she said, they'll come back a year later. Do you know how many people I've messaged numerous times and they've left me on red? And then 2 years later, after I've sent them like 3 messages, and then they come back and are like, yeah, hey, can I get some info? Yeah, girl. I'm not going to talk to them and make it awkward about why they left me on red for 3 years, but your girl's still here. Right. And like that makes a difference. And it just, I mean, I love it. Thank you, Blair, so much for sharing that. Does anybody else want to share? So just remember that when your anxiety and depression creep in, remember why you started and don't let it win. Don't let it win, because that's what it wants to do. It wants to make you sit back and do nothing. It makes you want to freeze and do all of that, but don't let a temporary feeling affect your 5-year dreams. Don't let a temporary feeling affect your 5-year dreams. I'm going to stop recording before I talk about my paycheck because I'm just not going to put that out there.